Hello. Right, for today we have something very interesting. What we've got today is stuff around the kitchen. So I want everybody to be involved in this, and you're going to need a roll of sandwich bags, some empty containers. These are really good with the see-through tops, worth keeping. And I'm going to show you something you can do with bottles as well for really difficult seeds. But first of all, you've got to have a little treasure hunt around the kitchen. Find all sorts of stuff. Not yet. Do that later. Watch me first. Now, I've got a whole list of things here, but we'll go through them. First of all, you can look through various things and find seeds in them. Now, these, I'll put them on a piece of paper. Save a bit of time. Got them out of the lemon. Are lemon pips. Now, mandarins sometimes have seeds, satsumas sometimes have seeds, clementines always have seeds, and the others can have seeds as well. So that's limes, oranges and grapefruits. And you can grow them all. They are surprisingly easy to grow. Now all you have to do is get a small pot, a bit of compost. These are not sweets and I didn't eat them all. My daughter did.
No, I didn't.
Now this is just a bag of compost, and all I've done is, because we're in my kitchen at the minute, because it's a bit cold and grim outside, so make it nice and level. Don't push down on all these fluffy composts that are made out of recycling. If you push it down, they just get wet and claggy. Now what I like to do in a pot this size is put 3 in. It's not because I want 3 plants, it's because about 1 in 3 will grow. So 3 pips, equidistant, big word. You want to put them all in. All you really want to do is get it growing. That's why it's in such a small pot. Once it does start growing, I can pot it on, and I can put it somewhere a little bit better, a little bit more room for it. Then you want a label. What's the 3 things you usually want on a label? The date you planted it, the year, can be helpful, and the name. There's nothing more annoying than looking at a plant pot full of lovely growing plants and you can't remember what on earth you planted. How are you going to know what to do with them? You just won't. I said 3 things, didn't I? Perhaps you could put your name on it. That means that if you've got brothers and sisters, you can all have different ones. And you can have a race, see who can grow those fastest. Now these are homemade labels, so they're quite big really. But labels, don't bother buying them. Wait till somebody has a shirt or something like that and you've got a sheet of plastic stuck in there, and just cut it up. Or even a yoghurt pot, which you can cut up into slices. Anything. Make nice white slices. Go on, what are you trying to say?
Weetabix. You can use Weetabix boxes.
You can use Weetabix boxes. What's the big problem with Weetabix boxes when you water them?
Go soggy.
Yeah, not very good.
Just so does the card and shirts.
No. Doesn't, not if it's plastic.
Don't get
Look at the
plastic
plastic.
in shirts usually.
Doesn't matter if it's transparent. However, white is best. And use a pencil. I've had no end of these fancy markers, and I almost lose all the writing off all of them. So it is best with a pencil. The pencils never fade. So that is lemons planted. I've grown lemons before. Actually, lemons, you can get lemons off them in this country. Another one. Anybody know what that is? Any idea? It's a sweet potato. Not a normal potato, a sweet potato. Very special sweet potatoes. They come from warm places like Portugal and Florida and everywhere warmer than Northamptonshire. Right, this is where your sandwich bag comes in handy. Get your sandwich bag, put a handful of compost in, or 2, depends if you've got a big sandwich bag. Put your sweet potato in there. Put some water in, just so it's nice and damp, that's all. And then tie it up, stick it in your airing cupboard. If you haven't got an airing cupboard, and we have not, somewhere warm. So it's probably where your central heating boiler is, somewhere near that. Doesn't need sunlight, it can be in the dark. What we're producing on these is something called slips, and they're shoots. And when these set out shoots, we wait until the shoots are about that big. What's that? 10 centimetres? Wait, it's 10 centimetres big, and then we break them off. Don't cut, break them off. And then we root these little shoots down, and then they become what's called slips. And all sweet potatoes are grown from slips. Not like other potatoes, where you plant a little potato and grow bigger ones. These from slips. So one potato will probably produce me 5 or 6 plants. So I can have 5 or 6 plants, slips off that, pop them up, grow them on. They can go in the cloches or in a greenhouse or in a very warm conservatory and make a fantastic jungly-like plant. And that's only a sweet potato. See? Right, next one. You must have some of this somewhere. Yeah? Know what it is? It's ginger. What ginger biscuits are made of. Now, all you want is a little bit of this. Now look over this. It's a really odd shaped vegetable, I suppose you'd call it. What you're looking for is one with the knobbly bits on, with the shoots. They're the best bits. So this has got knobbly shoots on. They're the bits I want. Now another pot. You'll notice I use old pots here. I've got all sorts of old pots, but you don't have to use pots. If you wanted to, these could be yogurt pots or anything. They all work just as well. And I'm going to put this in the soil. Now, it would benefit if I left it a couple of days, and this would become dry. That's the broken area, the cut. Once that's dry, they can go in the compost with the bits that look like shoots, which are the knobbly bits, which are the shiniest bits, pointing upwards. And if you'll take my advice, leave them exposed, right? Because you like to see it growing. Whereas if you plant it too deep, the first thing you'll know is when you've got a shoot or when you've got a mushroom because it's got mouldy. These do have a tendency to go mouldy. They do need a lot of warmth. Keep them warm. I shall put a label on that one later. And then we have another one here. This is what I've got my little container for. I want my own greenhouse. My greenhouse is cold at the minute. However, I've got this little mini greenhouse to go on a windowsill. So I'm going to put some compost in it. Now I need just about half full of compost on this. Don't want any more than that. I'm only trying to germinate these seeds. Now these seeds are something called a cardamom. I'll put a couple out here and perhaps camera girl can go in on them. Now years ago I went to India and I went up in the Ghats in the mountains looking for elephants. There's quite a few up there. And there was a ladies up there in a place called Top Station, and they were picked all their cardamom seeds off their cardamom trees and they were drying them out in the sun. And if you smell these, the smell, the power of cardamom seeds is unbelievable. Wonderful things. Even if you never eat one, I always remember that story, and hopefully now I've told you, you will as well. So these come from southern India, and you can push them in to the compost and grow them. Now hopefully they're the ones that are just sun-dried. Sometimes these herbs are cooked before they come in the country and they'll just die. They will not grow. However, you'll never know if you don't give it a try, will you? So a bit of compost on top. You want these all nice and covered up. Let's see if we can grow a cardamom tree. That one, I've got no room for my label, so I'm going to write it on the top in a permanent marker. It'll probably wash off, but I'm sure I remember them, they're cardamoms. And the last one, you may have seen me plant some, well, I'll plant some ferns in a similar pot to them. They're sitting on the windowsill behind me. You can probably see them over my shoulder. Don't look, camera girl, don't look. Oh, she is anyway. God, dear. Never mind. Anyway, what you can do, although you have to cook the compost in the microwave first, Get a parent to help you with this because you just want to reach boiling point with it. Nice soggy compost, and then put it in a container like this. Tap it until it all becomes nice and level and flat. I can do it, but I make a lot of mess, and then my missus will moan at me. So when it's nice and flat like that, you can tap your fern spores in, Blechnum chiliensis, in a lot. This is a difficult bit. Get them even all the way around and put the lid on. Now that can sit in a windowsill somewhere, and you don't need to water it or anything. When the plants grow, you will need to cut them out, unfortunately. But you can grow cacti like this, orchids like this. That's a tricky one if you can find orchid seeds. There's 1 or 2 seed places on the internet that'll supply them for you. Cacti are quite easy. A lot of companies will supply them. And just sprinkle them on the top. But because you leave them in their compost such a long time, you don't want them drying out. So this is a really nice way of doing it, just to put them in the bottle. And they'll grow along quite happily until they're about a centimetre wide, and then that'll be about in their 2nd year. Then you can cut the bottle open, put it in the recycling, and take your little cactus plants out, or indeed your ferns. So that's a really useful one. Another useful one, once you sterilise soil, is if you're into insectivorous plants. They love these conditions. So you can, if you've got some expensive seeds, I mean, mine's sitting here in my kitchen at the minute. It will be a kitchen at the minute. It's an extension, and she's sitting there because she got a bit cold at work, so she no longer lives at school anymore. She's come home. Yes, go on, you can take... Well, no. She's looking a bit rough at the minute. You've all seen a picture of Fang anyway, so she's not at her best, and I like her to recover first. Anyway, that's enough from me. We've told you about many things. This is all to do with my lessons this week as well. You have been directed to this site from the lessons, from Dojo's site. These are the Grojos. I just hope you get on. I want to see lots of pictures, and perhaps when we do the Teams meetings, you can show me some pictures of the plants as they're growing on your windowsill. Just get them and show me. Coriander's another good one, although I went to look for coriander seeds today and I couldn't see any in my kitchen, so that's one on the shopping list for the weekend. Coriander's great because you don't have to wait till it gets to be a tree or anything. You can just wait till the leaves come through and trim them off and then sprinkle them on your salads. Okay, that's it for my Grojo today, and just get growing. Come on, what are you waiting for? Off.